it's Michelle. Thanks for joining my alcohol ink class. This one is specifically burning the alcohol inks, but what I'm going to go over first is how to be careful when you do this and some supplies that you're going to need. The most important thing, first and foremost, is going to be your gloves. As you can see here, I was inking and I did not have gloves on. So you definitely want gloves. These are thin. Sometimes I do wear my gloves and they end up bleeding through my fingertips. So I have found the best way to get off the ink is to either use the regular rubbing alcohol. This one is 70%. You really want to use 91% or higher. But unfortunately, mine broke. So this one is 91%. It's blue because I was dipping my brushes into clean. So my point is, alcohol will remove the ink, but when it's on your skin, you really have to scrub it a little bit. Okay, so your gloves, your ink, your alcohol, and then your inks. I took the caps off these. They get very messy just because the ink does tend to bleed. These are some purples. You can get these anywhere. Joann's, Michael's. I usually buy them when I have coupons. Otherwise, they're about $11.99 for a 3-pack. And if I don't have coupons, then I wait till they go on sale. A lot of times you can get them for 30% off. So that's where I buy my inks at. They come in so many different vibrant colors. You can also get them on eBay. You can buy them more in groups, so you might get a whole set. You can buy the blues. They come in different color combinations and mixes. I really like the blues just because I think that they blend well with a lot of other colors. So anyway, okay, so you're going to want some different tiles, any non-porous surface. I get my tiles. Here's one that has a little messy ink on it. You can just clean this with your alcohol and a cotton ball. Wipe it right off. Actually, right here I have my paper towel, which I'm going to use. This is my first time doing a video, so please forgive me if I'm a little awkward at this. Okay. Alright, so I'm just taking paper towel with the alcohol. This is a little stuck on there, but you can see how it just kind of wipes it clean. This is kind of fun. Looking at yourself trying to do this. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So you kind of get the idea. Cotton ball works a lot better. I just have paper towels that I really wanted to use up. Okay. So your tiles. Again, these are just regular tiles. They come in all different shapes, sizes. You do want to stick with probably the glossy ones. I have used the dull ones that have a little bit of a design to them, and I just don't think that they blend as well. So I really stick with my good old inexpensive plain white tiles. Okay. Another thing I like to use are, excuse me, oh there you can see my messy craft room. Okay. So these are different sheets of tiles. These are hexagon shape. I really like using these for little gifts. All you do is you just peel it off the back. It comes right off the netting. You don't want to leave it on the netting. There you go. These are fun because you can make ornaments with them once you ink them. You can get some string, some wire, and you just make a hoop. And with a little glue, hot glue, you would just glue it on there. And there you go. And you can even glue some felt, cut the felt to fit the shape, so it kind of hides the hook. Okay. So anything that you can do on a big tile, you can do on these little tiles. just a little miniature canvas. All right, so these were our finished products from the ones that we fired outside. Okay, this was the blue and the purple. So you can kind of see, if you can see it, how it gets that turquoise look. Let me show you a bigger tile. This is a pink. Oh, I'm getting a glare. I apologize. There you go. It's a little bit better. Okay. So you can kind of see that almost wants to look like a rose in a way, like a petal. Little petals you can do. So I'm showing you these because what you could do once you fire them, you can actually take Sharpie markers, and if you want to draw on them, maybe you want to pretend this is like paper. You can write a letter to someone with your Sharpie marker. You can take stickers and you can put stickers on top of it. So you just want to think of this as like your canvas. Sorry, I'm getting that glare. Okay. Like that. I'm going to show you an example of a tile gone wrong, where basically, let's see, you can see how there's in the center, it kind of bled, it burned really well, but around the edges it got all mucky. And what this is from all the color just kind of settling, pooling in one place, and not having enough fire to actually burn it off. So you want to make sure that you're cleaning the tiles really good with the alcohol. Make sure you're wearing your gloves, your paper towel, and this is just regular alcohol. I usually do mine on tin foil or a baking sheet. Any non-porous surface is what you want to work on. Otherwise the inks, when they bleed, because they will bleed, will bleed through if it's paper or newspaper. So you want to make sure that it's not going to bleed on any of your furniture or your table or your hands, which is why you have to wear gloves. Unless you want colorful hands, then you don't have to. I'm just going to put a little more alcohol on here. My bottle cracked, so it might come out a little quick, but that's okay. You don't want to wipe it totally dry. You want to make sure that it's still wet from the alcohol. Okay. Then my inks. I'm using some bluish purple. I have like an orangish pink. A bright pink, and then a red and a deep purple. Now these bottles, I made this alcohol ink using Sharpie markers, and all you do is you pull out the cartridge where all the ink is. You can kind of see it in there, and you fill up any bottle with alcohol, and you have to make sure that it's 91% or higher, otherwise the inks won't do what you want them to when you go to paint with them. And then you just leave the cartridge in there, the ink cartridge. These have been in here a while, probably a couple months. I'm pretty sure that the colors are done getting more potent, if you will. But these are going to be a little more diluted, so that's why I like to keep these on hand. If I oversaturated my canvas, my tile, with the alcohol ink that you buy from the store, sometimes if you put too much dark ink on your tile, it's going to get very muddy looking, almost like if you mix too many paint colors. So that's when I come in with these and lighten it up a little bit, but I'll show you. Okay, so now that I was talking, I want to get some more alcohol on here just to get it wet. So you're just going to do dabs of color. There's not really going to be a pattern because once you burn it, the flames will pretty much sweep over the tile and blend all the colors together in a way. So don't try to make a perfect design because it's not going to stay. All right. Got a little of that. Let's see, I have some blue. I'm going to do some blue around here. Now these inks, there's two different kinds. I buy them from any craft store. You can get them for a 3-pack for about $11.99. I always use a coupon, Joann's or Michael's, because I never pay full price for these inks. Okay, so because it's not spreading really good for me, I'm going to take my diluted ink and just kind of gently squeeze so you can see how that's a little more watery and it's causing the colors to mix. So what you want to do now is just pick up the tile and kind of swim it around a little bit. And you see it is kind of getting that mucky color a little. So I'm going to take my actual alcohol because I want to break it up. Pour it on there. And then you can move it a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to transfer the tile. And yes, I know it looks like a big mess right now, but watch what it does when you actually put the flame to it. You're going to see all the colors really start to come out. The pinks, the blues, the purples, and then I'm going to show you how you can fix it if it gets if the colors aren't popping enough for you. Okay, so right here I have just an old cookie sheet. I wouldn't suggest reusing these to actually bake with. So you're going to take your tile, pick it up and put it on here. We're going to bring this on the ground. And you can see the ink, when it starts to blend, it makes some really pretty colors. All right, so make sure that there's nothing around. I use one of these just long lighters. It's gonna go up pretty quick. Okay. So the flame, once the ink is all dissipated, you can it's hard to see, but when you actually do this, you can see how the flame is literally dissolving the alcohol and leaving behind the pretty colors and designs. Move it a little bit closer because it's almost done. So you don't really have any control over what it's going to turn out like. But see, it almost looks like a galaxy picture. So this I really like. I don't want to touch that. But over on this side, see how it's still a little dark, so I'm going to add a little more alcohol to that. Not any colors, just the plain old alcohol. Just a little bit. Like I said, my nozzle's broken, so it might come out a little quick. Okay. Now this, kind of move it around a little bit. I spilled a little of the alcohol on the actual pan, so I'm just going to dab it up really quick. Otherwise, when you burn it, the flame will carry over. And it's okay if it does. It'll just take longer to die out. Okay. Alright, so now that's just going to burn on that side because that's the only place that I put the alcohol on. All the alcohol on this side is burnt off. So now it's just going to form that really cool design over there. See, but now I want to put more in the middle, so I'm going to add more color. I'm going to add a little of the orange just dab it around a little because I want a contrasting color. Okay. And then I'm going to use one of my diluted bottles. Now, if there is any flame if there's an area that's still hot, you want to be careful when you actually put the alcohol on because it could ignite. Okay, so that's pretty good. But what I want to do now, and it might be a little warm, put a little more on here because I really want it to blend really good. And if you have a little brush, you can take that and kind of paint it around to move it. All right, so I'm going to step back a little bit. There we go. And again, it's only going to burn where there's actual alcohol, the rubbing alcohol. If it's a windy day, you want to make sure that there's nothing around. Step back and just let it do its thing, and then it burns out pretty quick. Okay, so you can kind of see how, let me move this. To get rid of the glare, you can kind of see how the part that still had the specks on it, the little dots, because I didn't have any alcohol on there, the flame didn't really get to that. The flame primarily was right on this portion. And you could see how it kind of makes the waves as it's burning off the alcohol. So now I think I want to just try something totally different on this one. So what I'm going to do, now I'm just going to take the plain alcohol. Again, you want to stand back a little bit when you do this. And I'm going to take my paper towel and really just blend it, because now I want the whole thing to burn. See how the colors, whenever you put alcohol on it, that's going to reactivate all of the paint. It's almost like an eraser in a way. Okay, here we go. Now the whole tile is going to burn and I'm going to get a totally different design. And you want to make sure that you don't keep anything close by. Okay, so that burned off pretty quick. Oh, see, it's not done yet because there's some alcohol underneath the tile, so that's why that's burning like that. You can put some tin foil underneath this to kind of keep it from burning like that. It will stop once all the alcohol has been burnt off. Just kind of give it a little jiggle. So here you go. So now it really made more of a blended pattern. You can continue to add to it. You can add different colors. You can add light colors. You want to lighten it up a little bit. If you do want to try to do a design for all of my A-type people who want to try to control it, let's just do a line. I'm going to do a line there. I'm going to do a squiggle and a squiggle. All right. So now we're going to see how that burns. Okay, again, step back. Now for this, because there's not any alcohol other than the ink, when you do that, all that's doing is pretty much baking it on. So now that's dried.